Most men fall for a pretty face and pay the price later. But intelligent men, they see beyond the beauty. They don't chase, they don't beg, and they damn sure don't settle. They play the game differently, and that's why they win in love and in life. Gentlemen, intelligence is attractive, but emotional intelligence, that's irresistible. It's not about how many books you've read or how high your IQ is. It's about how you carry yourself when you're with a woman. The truth is, smart men, truly smart men, don't just talk the talk. They understand the emotional terrain of relationships and navigate it with mastery. They don't beg for love. They don't chase validation. And they sure as hell don't ignore the red flags just because someone's pretty. So today, I'm going to break down 9 mistakes intelligent men avoid with women. These are the things that separate men who get played from men who play the game with clarity and purpose. 1. They had not ignored red flags because of lust. They had not ignored red flags because of lust. They did not ignore red flags because of lust. A beautiful face, a seductive body, soft skin, and sweet words can distract a man, yes. But an intelligent man knows if she's toxic, manipulative, disrespectful, or emotionally unstable, beauty won't fix that. He doesn't convince himself to stay. He knows that red flags don't turn green over time. 2. They don't overshare too quickly. Smart men understand mystery. They don't trauma dump on the first date or spill their whole life story trying to gain sympathy. They give you a glimpse, not the full picture, because they know interest is built in layers, not by laying everything out. 3. They don't compete for her attention. An intelligent man doesn't chase a woman who's clearly entertaining multiple options. He doesn't jump through hoops to win her over. He knows his worth. And if a woman can't see that from the start, he's out. No games, no begging, just clarity. 4. They don't ignore compatibility for chemistry. Yes, the butterflies are exciting, the spark is intoxicating, but smart men don't confuse chemistry with compatibility. They ask the hard questions early. Do our values align? Is she emotionally mature? Can I build with this woman, or am I just addicted to the thrill? 5. They don't sacrifice purpose for a relationship. A smart man will not drop his dreams, goals, or priorities just to keep a woman. He'll love deeply, but not at the cost of his mission, because he knows if she's the right one, she won't compete with his purpose. She'll complement it. 6. They don't tolerate disrespect. Ever. Silent treatment, shaming, public embarrassment, manipulative games. These are non-negotiables. An intelligent man walks away from disrespect the first time, not the 10th. because he respects himself too much to be someone's emotional punching bag. 7. They don't rely on looks or money to keep her. Sure, they might be well dressed, successful, charming, but they don't rely on these things to sustain a relationship. They know the real glue is emotional connection, trust, communication, and boundaries. Looks fade, money flows. But who you are, that's what matters. 8. They don't stay in relationships out of fear. Fear of being alone, fear of starting over, fear of what others will think. Smart men don't let fear keep them stuck. If it's no longer healthy, if they're no longer growing, they leave. Because peace of mind is worth more than a pretty face and broken promises. 9. They don't try to fix or raise a woman. This isn't a charity project. Intelligent men know they are not her father, her therapist, or her emotional crutch. If she's not healed, not self-aware, or not ready to grow, he doesn't try to fix her. He steps back and lets her do the work on her own. A beautiful woman can be dangerously distracting. Her smile, her curves, her energy, it can cloud your judgment if you're not careful. That's where most men go wrong. They see beauty, they feel lust, and they start ignoring what's right in front of them, the red flags. Intelligent men, though, they don't fall for that trap. They've trained their minds to separate attraction from attachment. Just because a woman turns heads when she walks in doesn't mean she's right for your life. And a smart man knows that the more he ignores the signs, the more he pays the price later. When a woman constantly creates drama, tests your patience, or subtly disrespects you in the name of jokes, these aren't harmless behaviors. They are warnings. But average men will justify them. Oh, she's just emotional. She's been through a lot. She'll change. No, she won't. Not for you, not for anyone. She'll only change when she wants to. Intelligent men observe patterns, not promises. They don't get pulled in by emotional manipulation or guilt tripping. They trust what they see over what they're told. And if the signs scream chaos, they don't wait to see how deep the hole gets. They walk. There's a difference between having standards and being judgmental. A smart man knows this. He's not looking for perfection, but he is looking for peace. And if a woman disrupts that peace consistently, no matter how beautiful she is, he sees it as a cost too high. He doesn't tell himself stories to justify her behavior. He doesn't think he can change her with love or patience. That's not intelligence, that's emotional desperation, and it leads to resentment, not connection. She flakes on plans repeatedly, that's a red flag. She plays the victim every time there's a disagreement, another one. She's overly flirtatious with other men and says, "You're just being insecure," yet another. But too many men let it slide because they're focused on what they want her to be, not who she actually is. Smart men don't project fantasies. They read the reality and make decisions based on facts, not feelings. Even more dangerous is when lust blinds you to emotional immaturity. Just because a woman makes you feel good in the moment doesn't mean she's good for your future. Beauty fades, the thrill fades, but her character, that's what lasts. And if her character lacks depth, grace, or accountability, then no amount of beauty can compensate. Smart men get this. They've had enough experience to know that chasing surface level attraction leads to long-term frustration. They don't just look at how she treats them when things are easy. They watch how she behaves when things are tense. Does she shut down? Does she lash out? Does she turn cold or cruel? A woman who can't handle emotional discomfort will destroy a relationship, no matter how pretty she looks on your arm. Intelligent men are emotionally disciplined. They can spot emotional instability dressed up as passion. They're not seduced by chaos. They choose calm. This isn't about being cold or unfeeling. It's about being self-aware. A smart man is in control of his desire. He doesn't let it lead him into relationships that drain his energy and destroy his peace. He can admire a woman's beauty without surrendering to it. He can walk away, not because he doesn't care, but because he cares about himself more. He's seen the cost of ignoring red flags, and he refuses to pay it again. There's power in mystery, and intelligent men know how to use it. One of the biggest mistakes men make with women is oversharing too quickly. They confuse vulnerability with emotional dumping. On the first date, or sometimes even before, they pour out their traumas, insecurities, relationship history, financial struggles, and personal fears, thinking it makes them appear open and real. But what it actually does is strip away their intrigue and, in many cases, create imbalance. Smart men understand that attraction builds in layers, not all at once. They know that revealing everything too early robs a woman of the opportunity to discover them slowly. Emotional connection isn't about confessing your entire life story in one sitting. It's about letting her earn access to your world. Intelligent men aren't cold. They're calculated. They offer glimpses, not full access. They answer questions, but with just enough depth to keep her wondering. And that wondering, that subtle curiosity, is what keeps her invested. When you overshare, you unconsciously shift the power dynamic. You place the emotional burden on her to carry your unresolved issues. And whether she says it out loud or not, that weight can turn from empathy to repulsion quickly. It's also about timing. There's a time to open up, and it's not always on day one. Smart men are intentional. They don't speak just to be heard, they observe. They learn how emotionally intelligent a woman is before peeling back their layers. They listen more than they speak in the beginning. Why? Because they want to see who she is when she thinks she's not being analyzed. Oversharing can often be a defense mechanism. Some men do it because they want to fast-track emotional intimacy. But intimacy isn't something you rush. It's built through trust, consistency, and shared experience. There's also the issue of respect. When you unload too much too soon, you signal that your emotional boundaries are weak, that you're looking for a therapist, not a partner. Smart men never seek therapy in romance. They do the inner work first. They process their pain before entering a relationship. That way, they show up whole, not hoping a woman will complete them or rescue them from their past. Women admire emotional strength. That doesn't mean being emotionless. It means having control. It means knowing when to speak and when to hold back. It means understanding the value of being a little mysterious. Intelligent men also recognize that oversharing is often tied to validation seeking. They're not trying to impress a woman by showing how deep or complex they are. They don't need to spill their struggles to feel significant. Their presence alone speaks for them. Their words are deliberate. Their stories come out slowly, when they're earned, not given away like cheap currency. They're not auditioning for acceptance. They're observing if she is someone worthy of their openness. And let's be honest, too much emotional openness too early can be a red flag to women. It can signal desperation. It can make her feel like she has to play the nurturing role before trust has even been established. Intelligent men protect women from that burden. They create space for natural connection, not forced bonding. They know that mystery isn't about deception, it's about self-respect. It's about allowing intimacy to unfold at its own pace. They leave enough unsaid that she wants to know more. They don't feed her everything in one conversation, they let her crave the next. Smart men don't chase attention, They command it. And one of the ways they do that is by refusing to compete for a woman's interest. In a world where social media has created an illusion of endless options, too many men find themselves trying to outdo other men just to get noticed. They double text, overcompliment, buy gifts too early, or try to win her over with exaggerated gestures. All of this comes from a place of insecurity. Intelligent men, however, operate differently. They know that if a woman is truly interested, they won't have to convince her. They won't have to perform. They won't have to beg. She'll show up with the same energy he brings. It's not arrogance, it's self-worth. A man who knows his value does not chase women who are clearly distracted by other options. He doesn't stay in situations where he constantly feels like he's being tested or compared. He doesn't waste energy trying to beat other men because he knows that any woman who can't recognize what he brings to the table without competition isn't someone he needs to pursue. Attention is cheap. Loyalty is expensive. And intelligent men don't fight for the former when the latter is missing. A woman who's serious about you won't make you feel like you're in a constant contest. She won't play games with your time, your feelings, or your presence. But if she does, the intelligent man doesn't get angry. He gets distant. He steps back, not to manipulate, but because he refuses to overextend himself, where he's clearly not being appreciated. He understands the power of walking away, and that's where his strength lies. He doesn't argue with her about her priorities. He becomes unavailable to anything that doesn't align with his standards. When a man chases, he places himself in a submissive position. He makes the woman the prize, while forgetting that he is one too. Intelligent men don't operate like that. They believe in mutual investment. They want a relationship that flows, not one that feels like a constant negotiation. They don't chase someone who's playing hard to get. They focus on the ones who are easy to love, but hard to find. They are not interested in proving themselves to someone who treats affection like a trophy to be earned. This doesn't mean they avoid effort. No, smart men make effort where it's reciprocated. They plan dates, they initiate conversations, they express genuine interest, but they don't keep trying after the energy becomes one-sided, because they know that love, when it's real, doesn't need a circus. It just needs two people who are clear, honest, and consistent. Competing for a woman's time is a boy's game. Intelligent men play on a different level. They let their presence speak for them.